Hey guys, this is Lala Legacy, and welcome back to another episode of Cinderella Phenomenon. So before we jump in, if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button because that would mean the whole world to me, and afterwards, if you like this video, hit the like button too. Alright, let's get into this. I stand in an alleyway with Waltz, Jurian, and Karma, making sure to stay hidden in shadow as we watch the sea of people moving toward the plaza. Garland is scouting around the plaza for knights' positions, and we have been waiting here for him. There are so many people. Okay, this is where we split up. Remember that we're trying to avoid needless battle. If anything should happen, fleeing is the better option. I am not a fool. I would not pick a fight that would put anyone in needless danger. I'm glad you understand. Remember, we're only here to watch and listen. I don't want us to get into a skirmish if we can avoid it. So should anything go wrong, we need you to retreat, Princess. I would not leave you all behind. Melody, this isn't the time to be stubborn. It is not about stubbornness. It is just that all I have ever done is run. I refuse to keep fleeing. I have people to protect and I will not let them down. Running away isn't always cowardice. That may be, but sometimes there are situations that you need to face head on. This is one of those situations. Oh, what's the matter, baby? Please understand, Waltz. I just don't want you to get hurt, Melody. I know. I look at Waltz, feeling at a loss. No matter what I say, he will always insist on my safety first. Garland suddenly appears with a stiff frown. Look who I found. I turn to look at Garland and then notice the man beside him. My eyes widen at the sight of him. Fritz? Garland pushes him and Fritz stumbles forward. He falls to his knees only a few inches away from me. You're okay. Thank goodness you're all right, Princess. I twitch at the sight of his face. There is no sign of the wicked smile that was on his face when he was under the guise of Varge. Sorry, I started giggling because one of my babies, my kitties, he started licking my finger under the table. Though he looks confused, the relief in his eyes seems genuine. Are you truly Fritz, or are you Varge, or both? I'm the Fritz you've always known, Princess, your loyal knight. I raise an eyebrow. I can still remember what happened weeks ago, when the mask fell from his face in the room with the Tenebrarum. In that moment I saw Fritz's face, no matter what Varge said. Varge was in league with Alcaster and Mithros. The man I saw back there was definitely Fritz, even if he never confirmed it. What are you doing here? Fritz flinches. I've been searching for you. Why? So you could take me back to Mithros, or are you here to kill me? Fritz bows low, his clenched hands trembling at his sides. I will not surrender to you, I will not surrender you to Sir Mithros. My loyalty has always been to the kingdom and to you. I could never hurt you, Princess. But I don't blame you for doubting me. My father. I would have stopped him if I knew. Fritz glances up at me slowly, his expression resolute. I had just escaped yesterday when I was captured by knights. I managed to escape from them today, but only barely. I was supposed to meet the Lucius bearer yesterday. Fritz glares at me. Not at me, but through me, as if remembering something unpleasant. That was when I was able to take control of my body again just a few days ago. I had been searching for you, but instead found some witches who seemed to be in league with the Lucius bearer. I requested an audience with her as soon as possible, because I wasn't sure how long I could keep Varge at bay. At bay? Fritz, explain. About Varge? No, about this audience. Princess, this could all be some elaborate ruse of his. I have a responsibility to at least hear him out. What do you want from Parfait? I have important information about Hildyr. Mother? Lady Parfait did say that her and Laura were going to meet with someone who had information on Hildyr. And you believe that their meeting was with this man? Karma turns to Fritz, clearly skeptical. That seems like it could be coincidence. How are we to believe you? Fritz is silent for a few moments. After some time he speaks again more hesitantly. I know that apologizing won't change the fact that I have betrayed the princess and the kingdom. But right now, I am doing my best to right my wrongs while I still have control over my body. The knights are still searching for me as we speak, so I'll make this as brief as I can. Hildyr is growing weaker. What? I haven't been myself for the past few weeks, but I still have portions of Varge's memories. I remember that she is bedridden, still being treated for wounds that she sustained during the Great War. Then she is now sick like Parfait, only Mother seems to have it worse than her. I overheard Mithros say that the crystal no longer recognizes her as its sole bearer. Parfait said something similar, but she said she could no longer feel Mother's connection with the Tenebrarum. But what Fritz just said... It seems that the crystal has seen both of you as bearers. It's stretching its energy to both of you. This might be why Hildyr hasn't regained her full powers and has remained weak. Walt stares at Fritz eyes wide. The crystal having two bearers? I didn't think such a thing was possible. Is this why Hildyr still refuses to show herself in public? Yes, the witches who used to be on her side doubt her capability to rule. None of them want to help her when she is still so weak. Mithros figures that the only way to get the crystal to fully accept Hildyr is to drain the rest of your powers. That is why the palace has issued a higher bounty on your head. But Father is no longer interested in actively hunting for you. There's been a rift between him and Mithros because of this. Waltz crosses his arms, his expression thoughtful. I'm surprised Hildyr hasn't disposed of Alcaster yet. If he is still alive, it means that he must still play an important role in her plans. Fritz's expression quickly morphs into something grim as he frowns down at the ground. You're right. Waltz and I exchange a look before we turn back to Fritz. Mithros plans to kill my father today. Fritz's eyes are distant, his mouth pulled into a tight grimace. All I could do is stare at him, uncertain of what he has just told me. Hildyr will show herself to the public today. She and Mithros plan to kill Father in front of an audience in hope that their fear and despair will fuel the Tenebrarum. They think fueling the Tenebrarum might make Hildyr stronger. They plan to use the fear of the public to achieve their own ends. This is not good. With this many people here, the Tenebrarum might indeed see that surge of power again. Even a weakened Hildyr will be difficult to fight, but we stand more of a chance against her now than we do if she fuels the Tenebrarum with negativity. Please, save the kingdom, princess. Fritz looks at me imploringly. I shake my head slowly. I am confused. You betrayed us, but then you're still helping us as well. Which side are you on? The only reason why I'm working for them in the first place is because of my curse, I swear it. Fritz tries to stand up, but his knees wobble, and suddenly he is down on the ground again, his hand clutching at his chest. Fritz? No, not yet. Fritz looks at me, his pale face covered in sweat. I have no idea how long I could suffocate Varge, so please, bind me, freeze me, do whatever you can to keep me from chasing after you. I don't want to hurt anyone anymore. Fritz kneels over, his forehead touching the ground. Please. Waltz. I know. Waltz snaps his fingers, and a rope of light appears around Fritz's wrists, pulling him down to the ground. I furrow my eyebrows at Fritz even as he cocks his head to look at me. Thank you. You don't have much time left. I plan to deliver my message to Lucius Bear, but I leave it in your capable hands instead. Fritz, I am sorry. I will do anything to protect my charge. Now go! Jurian nods at me. Don't worry, Garland and I will keep an eye on him. Garland quickly informs us of the knights' positions around the plaza and gives us clues about where we might hide to avoid their prying eyes. After he has finished his briefing, Waltz, Karma, and I hurry off. Father, please watch over us today. There are so many people here. They have no idea that this seemingly harmless speech will be the start of their nightmares. I have been fiddling with my fingers since we got here, my nerves slowly taking over me. There are so many knights. I pull down the hood of my cloak to make sure that my face is concealed from them. Walt suddenly reaches out to take my hand. He raises it to his lips. Walt looks at me with a gentle smile. Don't worry, I won't let anything happen to you. I am not worried about myself. I am more worried about the people's safety, as well as our friends. I will not forgive myself if something bad happens to them. You're not the only one responsible for protecting everyone here. Remember that I will always share your burden, Melody. I know. I look up at him and smile. Thank you. I've told you so many times that I would do anything for you, Melody. I feel the same way. Waltz wraps his arms around my waist and draws me closer to him. Waltz? Waltz takes my hand and plants a kiss on my fingers. You worry too much, Princess. How I wish I could share your optimism. And his casualness. How does he manage to act like this in front of so many people and at so dire a time? The king is here! Oh, come on. A woman announces the king's presence, and Waltz and I immediately turn our attention to the stage. He takes a step away from me, arms at his side, expression suddenly stoic. Alcaster walks to the center of the platform with a triumphant smile. Good day, my loyal subjects. Everyone goes silent at the sound of his voice. I know that much has happened in our kingdom since the late King Gennaro passed away. We are still exerting our efforts to find the king's murderer, his very own daughter. Rest assured that justice shall find this criminal, even if she is our own princess. Anyone who is able to surrender her to the palace will be rewarded handsomely. Members of the crowd begin to chatter amongst each other. It hurts that people believe him, but I cannot say I blame them. As your king, I will do everything in my power to make sure that the kingdom flourishes under my rule. My, what a sight. Even after all these years, you humans never change. That voice! I frantically look around for her, but though her voice echoes around us, she is nowhere to be seen. Where is she hiding? The crowd grows restless at the sound of her voice. Many try to search for her with their eyes. You lot are nothing but manipulative, lying rodents, and yet you call us witches the wicked ones. A bright light fades into existence right before beside Alcaster. A silhouette emerges from the light, and suddenly I can see her in all of her wicked glory. My mother, the witch who killed my father. Mithros stands behind her. She is here! Her sudden appearance causes the already restless crowd to break into a panic. Silence! One word from her and the crowd falls into silence. Not a single person dares to move, their eyes now glued to the witch in front of them. Alcaster acts more quickly than I expected, drawing his sword from its sheath and pointing it at her neck. You! What are you doing here? You should be thankful that I let you play king for so long, but I am afraid playtime is over. That crown belongs to me. Mother faces the crowd with a smile and spreads her arms in a gesture of grandness. Angielle, your queen is back. Mother is even paler than when I last saw her, making the dark circles stand out even more beneath her eyes. She looks worse than parfait. I won't let you steal my crown, witch. Oh, but I was not the one who stole it in the first place. Alcaster grits his teeth and charges toward Mother. Mithros deftly steps in front of her and casts a shield. Alcaster slams his sword into an invisible wall. Then, with a wave of Mithros' hand, Alcaster is suddenly thrown back. Once again, the crowd becomes restless. I've tolerated you for far too long, human. But right now, you are inconsequential. Sparkling icicle darts appear in midair as Mother raises her hand. They point outward, casting themselves in the direction of the townspeople. She used the spell before, but now there are even more of them. She looks weak, yet she can still manage this much. She can easily destroy this part of town with that spell. I stare at Waltz, eyes wide, then lower my voice into a panicked whisper. I thought she was planning to kill Alcaster. Seems like the plans have changed. Farewell, my disloyal subjects. I cannot let her do this. Melody! I ignore Waltz and quickly run to the center of the crowd, knowing this will be the most effective place to set up a barrier. A strong gust of wind causes my hood to come off. Dang! I stretch out my arms as I concentrate on casting a shield around the entirety of the crowd. Isn't that the princess? Witch! I do my best to shut out everyone's voices as I push all my energy toward the palms of my hands, imagining an impenetrable glass arching in front of us. As soon as I have cast the massive shield, the icicles shatter upon impact, falling away. I wince at the impact, but force myself to stand steady, even when I am pushed back. I will not let you hurt anyone any more, Mother. The crowd begins to murmur all around us. Ah, so you finally showed up, little one. It's good to see you again, my dear daughter. I knew I'd see some sort of reaction if I opened my speech like this. She did this to draw me out? Now, be a good girl and hand over what is rightfully mine. You won't get away with this, witch! Alcaster is once again back on his feet, his sword poised and ready to strike. He cannot defeat Mother with a mere sword! Mother looks at Alcaster, a wide grin slowly parts her lips. But I already have. Mother flicks her hand, and a silver light begins to gather in her palm. I recognize that spell! As much as I hate Alcaster for what he has done to this kingdom, I cannot just stand idly by as she summons a spell to kill him. I push myself forward, rushing towards Alcaster. Alcaster, run! But I am too late. A second later, a sword of light appears and impales Alcaster right through his chest. No! This time, the crowd finally begins to disperse. People begin to push past each other, screaming and crying. Most of them are almost at the edges of the plaza before Mother casts another spell, creating a barrier to lock everyone inside. A strange wave of energy pulsates through my body, making me stumble. That's right, feed me your fear. The people's negative energy is fueling the Tenebrarum. My eyes shift toward Mother, whose grin is deranged, inhumanly wide. A shiver runs down my spine. Mother, stop this madness! In my moment of hesitation, Waltz rushes forward to cast a spell. Purple spikes run toward Mother, but she does nothing to stop them. Mithros effortlessly stands in front of her, casting a shield. The force of Waltz's spell sends him stumbling backwards. I hear his shield crack. Mithros tries to keep it up, but ends up succumbing to the force of Waltz's spell. Eventually, the glass shatters, and the spikes force their way through. One of them impales Mithros through the chest. Dang! So much death! Ugh. Mother glances at Waltz, her lips pulled into a pleased smile. Impressive. You can still use your magic even after having been separated from it for so long. I expected no less from my superior apprentice. Mother turns to Mithros and raises her eyebrows slowly. You are still a disappointment, Myth. My queen. These are the last words he can manage before he stops speaking. Father! Fritz's voice echoes through the sudden silent plaza. He rushes towards Alcaster, who has managed to walk a good distance away from Mother before he collapses to the ground. Soon, Fritz is kneeling right beside Alcaster's bloody body. Jurian and Garland are right behind him. I am about to walk over to them, but Karma holds my arm and pulls me back. Don't. But you do not want to set your eyes on such a grisly sight up close, Princess. Mother watches Fritz and the two knights approach with disinterest. This is his fate for trying to steal what is rightfully mine. Alcaster brings his hand to his mouth and coughs. I can see blood on his hands. Father's last moment flashed through my head, but I will the memory away as Mother turns her gaze on me. Mother surveys me with a warm smile. She holds out her hand and beckons me over. Join me, Melody. We were meant to rule this kingdom hand in hand from the start. These humans do not deserve your protection. They deserve to suffer after everything they've done to our kind. I shake my head. I'd rather die than join you. What? Ungrateful brat. This is how you repay everything I've done for you. You have done nothing for me. Very well. If you wish for death, I shall give it to you. Once I'm done with you, I will destroy this kingdom and start anew. It will be a kingdom for the witches and I. I will not let you do that. Mother is taken by surprise when another purple spike suddenly pushes through the ground toward her. She steps back, avoiding the brunt of the attack, but her arm is still grazed. Blood oozes from a newly opened gash. Waltz! You'll have to get through me first. You can't stop me, traitor. Mother extends her hands, and in mere moments, lightning has suddenly appeared and is winding its way up WALTZ'S body. No! We're gonna run to him. I rush toward him. Let him go! Melody, no, it's not safe. Mother, please don't hurt him. Mother looks at me, and then to Waltz. Her lips slowly curl into a wicked grin. So, this is what your relationship has become. My heart is in my throat as I draw closer to where they are. Let him go! I will do anything. Just let him go. Anything? Mother's voice is terrible and sweet, her tone filled with poison. I cannot bring myself to look at her. Instead, I keep my eyes firmly focused on Waltz. When Waltz speaks my name, it is in the soft voice that I have come to love so dearly. Melody. If you wish so much to save him, then you must return what you have taken from me. The crystallum tenebrarum. And then you will become my sweet, obedient daughter once more. Only then will I let Waltz go. Waltz's eyes begin to dim, and I can see the hope draining out of him. I am sorry, Waltz, but I cannot lose you too. You know where to find me, Melody. The longer you keep me waiting, the longer he suffers. There is a blinding flash of light, and then Mother and Waltz are both gone. No! A dull ache begins to spread through my chest. Again? I wasn't able to do anything again. Why am I so weak? Suddenly, I feel Jurian's hand on my shoulder. I turn to look at her. She stares at me solemnly for a few moments before her expression breaks and she shakes her head. Don't blame yourself for this. There's nothing you could have done. I have to save him. Jurian looks through me and I follow her gaze. The people are starting to back away, their expression a mixture of fear and anger. This is exactly like 4 years ago. What should we do now? That witch just killed the new king. Everyone, it's best for all of you to go home and stay where you'll be safe. And what? Wait until that witch kills us? One woman points an accusing finger at me. Her fear is palpable. That murderer is a witch as well. She's exactly like her mother. A wicked witch! The people begin to curse me. I stand quietly and listen to their insults. I cannot blame them for thinking this way. Karma moves to stand beside Jurian, and the two of them shield me from the angry masses. I doubt any of these people will listen to anything I have to say. Stop! A familiar man walks towards us with a gentle smile. You are! Yes, you remember me. You helped make my daughter happy on her special day with your gift. I am surprised when both he and his wife come to stand beside me. What are you doing? I could finally properly repay you for what you've done. The man smiles at me before turning his attention to the crowd. We won't let you hurt the princess. Rumors may have spread about her being a cold and wicked person, but those rumors are false. I know the truth. She's truly a kind person. She just protected us from the evil queen. Have you no shame? The angry shouting begins to fade into hushed accusations and aggressive whispering. That's right. We won't let you hurt Big Sister. These are the children that Waltz and I played with, the ones that watched his shows. The children stand to my other side. Big Sister is a very good person, and we won't let you hurt her. I can only stare in shock at everyone around me. My vision blurs as tears come to my eyes. I quickly wipe them away with the back of my hand. Everyone! A simple act of kindness can go a long way, can't it? These people believe in me. That is why I have to live up to their hopes. I take a deep breath and start walking forward. Jurian grabs my hand, her brow creasing with worry, but I shake my head at her and smile. I will be okay. Jurian looks at me for a few moments before she finally releases me. Now that I am directly in front of everyone, the area has quieted. I close my eyes and take another deep breath. Slowly, I get down on one knee before them. I am sorry! The crowd begins to murmur again. I can hear more than a few stifled gasps. Princess, you shouldn't! I raise a hand to silence Jurian. I once again look to the townspeople. I know my words are meaningless, but I still want to apologize for everything my mother has done, and also to the people I have hurt. I was blind and naive, ignoring the fear and anxiety of so many people. But I have grown since then, and now I see with clear eyes the hatred you have for my mother and for me. The crowd remains silent, so I continue. King Gennaro was killed by my mother, and I was not strong enough to save him. So yes, you are correct. I am the reason he is dead now. But I made a promise to him, and I intend to keep it. I will protect Angielle in his stead, and I hope that all of you will give me a chance to prove myself worthy as your princess and your future queen. I promise I will make things right again no matter what it takes. I bow my head once again before standing. I then turn to Jurian and Karma. I notice that Fritz and Garland are absent, and that Alcaster is nowhere to be seen. Where are Garland and Fritz? They took Alcaster's body away from all of this. Body, you mean? He has passed. A heaviness begins to sink into my chest. Bloodshed will only beget more bloodshed. This is why I cannot let anyone die anymore. Please do your best, Big Sister. I am pulled out of my reverie by the voice of one of the little boys. Let's play together when you come back. I stare at their smiling faces with bleary eyes. I do not even know if I will live through this, but I do not have the heart to ruin their optimism. I'd like that. I need them to keep hoping for a better tomorrow, so they will be strong enough to stand on their own feet if they must face the whole world. Jurian, tell Delora and Parfait what happened when they come back to the Marchen. What are you planning to do? Under no circumstances are you to go to that witch alone, am I clear? Waltz would not want you to sacrifice yourself for him. I step back and smile at her and Karma. I apologize for this. I back away toward the palace, putting as much distance as I can between me and the crowd, the platform, and Karma and Jurian. Then, as swiftly as I can, I hold out my hand to cast a large dome-shaped shield around the palace and I... The energy is falling away from me even as I cast the spell, only to be replaced by new energy. The Tenebrarum is gaining power. No! Jurian rushes toward the shield and places her hands on it. She calls my name, but I only shake my head at her. Princess Melody, do not be so foolish. No, I refuse to let anyone die. I can manage the shield for an hour. That should be enough time to save Waltz and end this for good. I offer one last smile before I turn and rush through the palace gates. Jurian and Karma continue to call my name, but to no avail. I am sorry, everyone, but this is something that I must do on my own. This is the only way that I can protect you all. I expected resistance when I entered the palace, but to my surprise, there is no one here. Not a single soul. Everyone must have evacuated when Mother appeared outside. The stagnant air around me is suffocating. The night air is quiet and cold as death. My footsteps are very loud in the emptiness of the palace. If I give my powers to her voluntarily, will I die? This thought has haunted me since I first entered the palace. All too soon, the doors to the throne room are before me. I pause in front of them, suddenly feeling anxious. There must be something else I could do besides submit to Mother. I need to find a way to protect Waltz and to save Angielle from her. I clasp my hands together in a silent prayer. Father, please guide me. I take a deep breath and with renewed determination push open the doors. Chapter 10, The Brightest Star. When I enter the room, Mother is the first person I see. She is sitting so regally on the throne, but as I draw closer, I notice how pale she has become since I last saw her. My gaze shifts to Waltz, who is kneeling beside her like a loyal servant, a rope of light binding him in place. Waltz! Melody, you shouldn't have come here. Mother flicks her wrist, tightening Waltz's bounds. Hush now. My mind is racing as I desperately try to conjure a plan. If Waltz has yet to escape, it must be because his bindings are stopping him from using his magic. If I could just break Mother's concentration, perhaps I could free him. But how do I do that? A terrible pain travels through my chest and makes my heart throb. I put a hand in my chest and grimace. It feels as if some part of me has suddenly been severed. This feeling! Could it be that the shield I built around the palace has been destroyed? Oh, seems like we have visitors. Visitors? The door flies open and Parfait suddenly walks in, face stern. Dolores strides in beside her. Why are you here? Everyone outside is safe. Garland, Jurian, and Karma are doing their best to evacuate them to their homes. They will be safer there. And then there's you. You did a very foolish thing striding in here on your own. Ah, how sad. I had expected there to be more reinforcements, but it's just you two. We don't need an army to stop you, Hildyr. Mother's lips curl into a tight frown. Bold words. But might I remind you that I am the one with the hostage? If I see any of you move a finger, I will end this boy's life. Mother turns to me once again and snickers. And I'm pretty sure my daughter here wouldn't like that, would you, love? My eyes meet Waltz's. He shakes his head at me, eyes gleaming with insistence. No doubt he'd want me to put myself over him, but I came here to save him. No matter how much I try to think myself out of this, it seems impossible. In the end, I am still weak. I am still useless. Now, where were we? Melody, don't do what she says. The rest of Dolores' words become muffled when Mother flicks her wrist and causes a glass wall to rise between us. Hildyr! Dolores' voice sounds as if it's echoing from far away. Quiet. Parfait holds up her hand and magic begins to sparkle at her fingertips. Before she could form any sort of spell, Mother twirls her fingers and tightens WALTZ'S magic bindings. WALTZ cries out in pain as he collapses to the floor. WALTZ! Hildyr, please stop this! Parfait approaches the glass wall and places a palm on top of it. Are you not growing tired of this, Hildyr? The humans have already suffered so much for what they have done in the past. Is that still not enough? Humans are fickle creatures, and that is why they cannot be trusted. Nothing can ever change how I perceive them anymore, Faye. There is a shadow of sadness on Mother's face, but it is only momentary. I cherished the humans, even respected them, yet they destroyed my kind out of fear for some silly story. If it had not been for that human bard, it would never have come to this. Hans already paid dearly for his mistakes when a witch murdered him. But you know just as well as I that he was trying to mend his mistakes. Mother stomps her feet on the floor with a scowl. His death has changed nothing. Hildyr! Silence, Faye. You will never understand the feeling of being feared and hated. Mother turns to me again, her eyes cold. Now, are you ready to return what is rightfully mine, Melody? I look at Parfait and Dolores, then at WALTZ. I cannot give my powers back to Mother, not when I know what she will do once she is the Tenebrarum bearer again. But I cannot let her kill WALTZ either. If these fools here had not changed you, I would have had no qualms about letting you remain the Tenebrarum bearer. I raised you to be the perfect queen. All that I did to prepare you for the crown. Mother knows best. Mother! That's it! If I could pretend that I am on her side, then maybe I could buy enough time to save WALTZ. Maybe Parfait will come up with an idea. I glance at WALTZ. My heart aches when our gazes meet once again. Forgive me, WALTZ, but this is the only plan I have right now. I take a deep breath as I face Mother once again. You are right. I should have listened to you. I want to go back to the way we were, Mother. What are you doing? Melody! I ignore WALTZ and Dolores' voices and focus only on Mother. You have always been right, Mother. I remember the disdained looks the people gave me earlier. Even after I saved everyone, they still wished I would die. I was so scared. Yes, now you see. I only wanted to protect you from those cruel humans, my daughter. You kept me away from everyone. I was alone. I am sorry, Mother. I am really sorry. I am sorry, but you need to go back to sleep forever. Only then do I realize that I'm crying, not because I need her forgiveness, but because there is no helping her. The only way to help my mother is to make her disappear. She cannot be saved anymore. I just wanted to be loved and accepted. Mother stands up from the throne and slowly walks toward me, her arms spread. And in my arms you will always be. Melody, the merchant accepted you for who you are. No. You were all forced to accept me because you knew what would happen if I stayed the way I was. You were afraid that I would end up like Mother. Melody, you were right. I am like my mother. We are related by blood, after all. You are right, Melody. You are sweet and perfect and wonderfully obedient, as any daughter ought to be. I was blinded by the merchant's lies once, but I now realize that no one loves me as you do, Mother. Melody. The pain in WALTZ'S voice is unbearable, but I do not look at him. I do not flinch away when Mother stops in front of me and wraps her arms around me. Gone is the warmth I thought I felt whenever she hugged me. Right now, Mother's embrace is cold as ice. Will you still accept me, Mother? Of course, Melody. When Mother pulls back, the smile on her face is bright and beautiful. This is how I remember her, filled with love for me. I knew you would return to me. There are so many things I have planned for the two of us, but you need to prove yourself worthy of my love and trust once more. What? Mother's eyes gleam. Prove to me that you choose me, my darling. Mother turns around and gestures to WALTZ. Kill the traitor. My heart sinks. This wasn't part of the plan. What should I do now? I know that one offensive spell, but I do not want to hurt WALTZ. But you haven't perfected it yet, but what you can do is enough to hurt and paralyze your enemy for a short time. I could pretend to cast it on WALTZ and direct it at Mother. WALTZ told me before that it is impossible to cast 2 shields at the same time. Mother already has 1 shield up, so she cannot cast another shield on herself unless she dispels the first. But with the 2 of us being so close, I am likely to hurt myself as well. I close my eyes, mind set. This is not the time to worry about myself. I just have to hope that this opening is big enough to give everyone the opportunity that they need. For you, Mother, I will do anything. But that is all the time that I have for this episode, guys. So if you liked it, hit the like button down below and don't forget to subscribe. I love you guys so much, and I will see you next time. Bye!